Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Producer Mark's Chit Show. Tonight in our studio, we have Helen Morgan. Helen Morgan is a highly respected realtor with over 4 decades of experience serving the Chicagoland area as the former and partner of Resource 55 at America's Finest Real Estate. Helen has dedicated her career to delivering exceptional service with a specialized focus on the unique needs of older adults. A certified senior housing professional, Helen is also known for her compassionate, knowledgeable, and client centered approach that helps other older adults and their families navigate life's transitions with clarity and confidence. Throughout her career, Helen has built a reputation for integrity, professionalism, and deep community ties. Her extensive experience and commitment to excellence makes her a trusted advisor and advocate for clients seeking guidance in every stage of home ownership, whether downsizing, relocating, or exploring senior living options. Clients turn to Helen for her unmatched expertise and personal touch. Hello, Helen. How are you?
Doing well, Mark. Thanks.
That was a long intro.
You did a great job.
Thank you, thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know we had your introduction, but tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into some questions that people have sent us, and they wanted to have a general idea of why a person like you is so important in the community. So go ahead.
Mark, I think, you know what? There's just such a great need for people that specialize and really specialize in working with senior adults. It's much more than a real estate transaction. Many years ago, you just mentioned how many decades. I don't really want to get into that again as far as how long I've been doing this. But there are there was such a need that I found, mm, maybe 2014, that we really needed to find a way to better help families that were going through difficult situations with their loved ones. Um, how I started, um, probably in 2014, my thought process was, how much longer will I actually be doing this? And I had 4 sons that year that called me, and they were experiencing challenges with moving mom. She was no longer safe to live at home. A house full of possessions, living in a home for 20, 30, 40, sometimes 50 years. There's a lot of stuff. But of course, I can help them sell the house. I've been doing that for many years. But what I didn't have the background in or the experience was, what how do we move mom to a safe place? How do we make sure that these, sons that are going through this with their family right now, how are they able to manage this while still raising their own children, living out of state in many cases, and how do we manage the entire process of getting mom moved to a safe place, packing up all the belongings, deciding what she can take, and making sure that, again, she's safe. So there was a need, and I was on a mission to find a way to be able to help these clients.
What differentiates you from other real estate agents?
I think some of the things I just said, but I actually had taken I was on a mission, as I said, and I was going to research, find a way to be able to get through this process without having to Google to find answers, and help in a way that there will be, that clients can put their trust in me. So I found the Senior Real Estate Institute, which provided a certification that basically took you through the entire process of what it takes to move a lifelong someone from their lifelong home, and to do that in a way that is not so overwhelming. So it was really like a graduate program. So think of it as, many times we can get our senior real estate specialty through the National Association of Realtors, which would be a 2-day course that now you have a certification. Does it prepare you for everything that is involved in a senior move? No way. I do have my senior real estate certification, but this program provided me with a certified senior housing professional designation, which basically teaches you all about the senior living options and how to get the best fit, whether it be a 55 plus community or a senior community, depending on the needs of the client. And my goal is always to be able to help the clients. The real estate hat is the last hat that I wear. I start out, I am I'm an educator for the whole family. I also then become an advocate for my clients. And last hat is the realtor hat. So that, along with, in that order, educate, advocate, realtor, that alone makes me much different than what most realtors in the market are doing.
Very, very informative. For many seniors, the home they've lived in for years holds a lot of sentimental value.
Mm.
How do you approach conversations around moving with that in mind with them?
Well, Mark, many times it is the seniors themselves that are calling me. And they already have, they're being proactive. It makes it much easier. Unfortunately, many times it's a crisis situation. And they don't have, um, they're not able to make decisions that what they would have made had they been proactive. So, it takes a conversation. It takes a lot of training, which I have, but the conversation really has to be about what it is they're looking for, in this next chapter of their life, and how we can get to the point that where they want to be. Should it not be a crisis situation? So the conversation many times is, but Helen, I raised my children here. It's this house, everything, all my memories are here in this house. And I go through the process with them many times, it's hours at a time, but many times it is, okay, well, I'm gonna share with you something that is very important. We're talking about a structure here. This is a house with many memories and all your treasures, which we treat very respectful. But what I say to them is, your memories are not within these walls. Your memories are here. They're in your heart, and they are going to go with you wherever you go. And they really appreciate knowing that I get it. And, by them really, I let it sink in. I don't talk anymore. I wait for their response. And many times they're like, you know, you're right. It's just, you'd look at every area of this house. I said, but it's become too much once they start talking about it. So we just work through the emotional struggles.
Wow, that is really very touching because you are. I've known you. I've known you. What, 10 years? 10 plus
Yeah,
years?
yeah.
You are probably one of the nicest, sweetest people that have ever come into my life, and I really, really love it. And you know what? I always try to ask you if for your advice in things. All right, coming back. Too many segues there. How do you approach helping a senior client downsize and make the decision to move to a retirement community or assisted living?
Okay. Again, depending on who's making the call to me, my first appointment, I don't really consider it a real estate appointment in any way. We sit, we talk, and sometimes it's for hours, but we talk about what does it really mean to them, what their expectations are. And no matter, even if the adult children are involved, we look, the senior is my client. And as long as they can communicate with me, it's always going to be about what they want and the downsizing process. We meet them where they are. So it can be, we're going to start very simple. We are going to start, with organizing a few drawers. You're going to do something as simple as that. If they know what they want, they're ready to move, and they really want to do it quick, we bring in the services that are needed. And, we have many referral companies that we use, resources that are uh, already vetted. I vet all of them personally and make sure that they're senior friendly, that I would trust them to go in my own family's home or my own home. And so if they're ready, we start the process and we do it quickly. If they are still really undecided and want to take it slow, then we take it slow. I've worked with some clients up to 2 years.
Wow. Wow. Are there any government programs or financial service says assistance options that seniors might not be aware of when it comes to real estate? Because I know there are a lot of things, and I'm talking from personal experience, where a lot of the people that I have met, they don't talk about it. You know,
Right.
they like to keep it to themselves. There are unfortunately some minions in our community that are involved in senior stuff, but they won't talk about it because they think that if they talk about it, the secret will be out, and somebody else may grab it, and it is so sad. So, Helen, tell us a little bit about that.
Number one, Mark, it should never be a secret to anyone. This is something that I have been trying for years to get the word out. There is no competition. There is no threat there. There are not enough people serving seniors. And it takes a very special person to be able to do it, but we need so many more. I am always an open book, and I'm willing to share anything, any of my knowledge. I mean, I know you've had to call me in circumstances with your own
Yeah,
family.
yes, I have. Yes, I have.
And there are many programs depending on, some are financially based programs, others are, ways for people to move prior to selling their home. There are reverse mortgages that can help seniors really be able to. People have a big misunderstanding about that program. Along with, there are programs if you or your spouse served in an active war. There are veterans benefits that can help pay for the cost of, assisted or senior living. So there are so many programs, we could do a whole show on that, but there are many.
Absolutely. And I think when we find some time, we will do a show on it, because here's the thing: people don't know, and we have a platform which is in the community. People watch it, people look at it, and I think you are a perfect candidate, a perfect person to supply the
Mhm.
seniors the information. We love it.
And and everyone needs it. Everyone needs it, whether it be families trying to help their loved ones, whether it be the seniors themselves being proactive. There's just so much information out there that people don't know about, that they need to know about.
Wow. Overwhelming over here. Question: buying or selling a home can be a very emotional process, or if you're from Canada, process. How do you provide emotional support to seniors during this transition?
Communication, a lot of hand holding, and knowing that I am their go-to trusted advisor in every aspect. I mean, um, some of the stories that I could share with you that I mean, any believe me, any realtor listening to this would be like, "Oh, no, that's not happening with me." Because it is, it's a process. I mean, you have to be a very heart-centered person
Yeah.
to be able to work with seniors and to be able to get them through many ups and downs
Right.
when they are going through this process because they need to know, they need to be comforted, they need to know because their biggest fear is, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
I mean, they want to be able to leave a legacy and they want to do it right,
And
you know.
and not to cut you off here, but that goes in every form of real estate, every division of I mean, say how do I don't know how am I going to put this, every division, every aspect of real estate, because I know you specialize in seniors. Yesterday I had we had a very dear friend of ours,
Yes.
Laura, and she does real estate, but she's also very compassionate and uh, just into it, just trying to help somebody. It's not always about the money. It's about helping the other person, be it commercial real estate. People have gone through, especially after the last pandemic we had.
Mhm.
People went. Me, I'm a perfect example. I had an entire floor, and from there we came down to an underground radio station.
Right.
But if people go out of the way to help find other people, the properties or a home. In your case, especially with the seniors, there's sometimes the kids can't take care of their parents.
Yeah.
I have seen in this in our affluent community, I know dozens of people that are well off and their parents are living in horrendous conditions. You know, they
Mhm.
have left their parents. They don't allow. I don't want to get into that. But yeah, no, I just want to thank you for all you do, and I do want to say I want you to plug yourself. Uh, Give us your information. How in the world can people get in touch with you? What is your website? What is your phone number? How do people get in touch with you?
Mark, people, I mean, pretty easy to find, but I give my direct line to everyone, which is 708-712-8493. My website under is always under maintenance, right? We're always updating
Right.
it. We're always changing things, but it is www.resource55.com.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm gonna make sure that I have it you know, scrolling down or
Right.
have it on the screen so people can call you. And this is what I like. You are one of those people that when I call, you pick up the phone.
Yes.
I mean, it's not that I want to feel important, but what I'm trying to say is you are the kind of a person from a generation where back in the day we didn't have texting. When you wanted the stuff, you called the person, the other person picked up the phone, and I'm so glad that 99.9% of the people that I deal with, my friends, my dear friends, they always pick up the phone, and that's how business gets done. So
It
guys,
is.
if you're out there and you need any information about senior housing, living, your mom, your grandma, anybody, a relative of yours that is looking for information, the number is on the screen. You can call, and Helen will be so happy to provide you the information that you need. Helen, we have another question. We have a bunch of questions here. What are some of the best ways to ensure seniors feel safe, supported, and understood throughout the buying or selling process? I know you mentioned holding hands, which is a very rare commodity these days, because these days people are even scared to say, "Hey, how you doing?" because it could be construed as something else. So this the screen is yours. Go ahead, ma'am.
You know what, Mark, working with our senior, you just kind of went through this with picking up the phone, right?
Yes,
That is one thing I
absolutely.
always pick up the phone. I mean, and if I don't, you're going to get a call back right away.
Right.
It's not going to be in a
You are
few
very good.
it's not going to be in a
You are
few
very good at it.
days.
You're very good at that.
And
Yes.
if a client it seems distressed in any way, or they
Yeah.
seem just concerned or overwhelmed by the
Yeah.
process, I will be there. I will be there to sit with them. I will talk it through. We will
Right.
make a plan. We will create a plan that works for them to
Yeah.
be able to make sure that none of my clients feel
Yeah.
overwhelmed,
Right.
or their families. I mean, there's a lot of family dynamics that happen in this
Yeah.
type of scenario as well. And, going back to all realtors, we are all in the business of helping people. I mean, that is true in one way or another. It takes a very, very unique person to be able to go through the senior part of it, as far as helping their clients make major life changing decisions toward many times toward the end of their life. I have clients in their 90s,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it is, and they're still able to make their decisions. They need a little extra help. We make sure to listen.
Yeah.
And that is probably one of the best skills that I have, is to be able to sit and listen. Even if they want to sit and tell me a story that takes 2 hours, I'm going to be there
And you are that
to
person.
listen.
You are that person. Your heart actually is bigger than you. You have a very big heart. And I know sometimes when people that have a big heart, other people take advantage of that. But you do have a big heart, and I can attest to that.
Thank you.
Question: when should a senior start thinking about the logistics of selling their home or moving to a new living situation? Is there an ideal timeline?
I can't stress this enough. And I really want this to hit home with anyone listening that may be considering this. Do it now. You may think it's too soon. You're in your 50s. Why do I need to do this? It is, it's all about the what if. You want to be the person that makes the decisions. You do not want to wait until a crisis situation where someone else may be making these decisions for you. If nothing else, invite me into the picture, invite me over, just to be able to start creating a plan. It may not happen for years down the line, but you want to be prepared. You want to know that your wishes are being followed, whether you're able to do it, or your kids or your family members, your loved ones are aware of what your wishes are. So it's never too early. The When it's sometimes too late is when it's a crisis situation,
Yeah, when
because
it's too late and you can't get it done.
well, then we're struggling to find the appropriate place for
Place for
you,
you,
because now your health has declined.
right?
There are, now we've got a whole house full of possessions. Your house has to be able to be sold to be able to afford your next,
Right.
this next chapter. So start
Ooh,
downsizing, start
yeah,
kind of getting ready, or at least create the plan,
yeah.
you
My
know.
one of my neighbors, they moved to. She was having some problems, and she was good community, good people, good house. Her husband passed away, uh, and she was getting too old to take care of her house,
Mhm,
and her husband was a hoarder.
mhm,
Not in a bad sense. Like he had, for example, in his garage, 50 Schwinn bicycles. Never rode any. I never saw him
mhm.
ride any, but he was a collector.
Right.
He had a room full of die-cast cars. He passed away, and all that is now God forbid if she passes away, they're all in storage. Uh, Somebody's going to come and have a field day with that. You know.
Mhm.
So what I'm trying to say is she moved into this facility. I don't want to mention the name because it's going to be a plug for
Mhm.
nothing.
Mhm.
It's in Tinley Park. It's on Harlem,
Mhm.
and it's a senior assisted. I don't know whether it's assisted living or what, but the thing is, she pays an X amount of dollars a month,
Mhm.
and she has an apartment there, and it is like a 5-star
Yes.
hotel. I mean, wow. I was joking because I was helping her in the neighborhood that I live in. We're all very close,
Mm.
and so all the neighbors, we helped her. I even helped her go and buy a TV from Best Buy, and the Best Buy people, they wanted to charge her $300 to deliver the thing.
My.
Yeah, my jaw just dropped. I'm like, you got to be. I said, listen, I have a van. I'll pick it up for you. I'll bring it in. I'll set it up. I'm not trying to show that I'm a big guy and whatever.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, everybody wants to make. Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, we set up everything in the thing in her apartment, and she has a beautiful view of
Mhm.
Harlem Avenue, and but it's centrally air conditioned, central heating. She has a laundry room. They take the laundry, they'll wash
Mhm.
it. She's got, I mean, it's beautiful. Those apartments are, it's a two, and they have a 1 bedroom studio, or 3 bedrooms,
Right.
but you pay it,
Yes.
according to that. But I think they're still cheaper than you trying to find a condo to move
Mhm.
in, and then you have nobody over there. You gotta deal with the ComEd people. You got to deal with the
Right.
the the the, the gas, the cable, and all that. So if somebody calls you, you can assist them with that kind of stuff, right? You can.
Yes.
Okay,
And,
very good.
I have many resource partners that help in situations like that. Obviously, I can't know every single community that is out there, and you're
Right.
right.
Yes.
Some
Yes.
of these are like resorts.
Yes. Yes.
I
They
mean,
are.
and they have to worry about nothing. Absolutely
Absolutely
nothing.
nothing.
They're fed, they hit, and most clients that I have that do end up
Yeah.
moving to a senior community of their choice,
Yeah.
thrive.
Yeah.
They thrive because they've been isolated at home.
Right.
They're living alone. They don't get out. They no longer drive, whatever the reason might be. But when they're in the communities and they're happy, they really thrive. I mean, it's amazing to see. And I always go and visit my clients. I always want to see how they're doing. It doesn't end with selling the
Right.
house.
Right. No, I know you do follow-ups. You are that special kind of a person. You are cut from a special kind of a cloth, that you are one of those rare people that will actually call the person that you've helped, the senior, and try to find out what's going on and everything. Speaking of taking care of people, can you share with us a memorable story of somebody that you helped move and make that smooth transition?
I have a lot of memorable stories, some good, some not
Well,
so
let's
good.
let's listen
But
to some good
yeah,
ones.
yeah. And, I become an advocate, like I said, for my clients, Mark, but, I have a story, and I won't name names, obviously,
Oh
but
no, we're not mentioning no names.
it's almost like a love story,
Hmm.
and it's just something that just has, like just pulled at my heartstrings.
Right.
I wasn't the beginning of the equation, where, um, one of my clients who became my client, had already moved to a senior community for health reasons. He was no longer able to live at home. So I was, introduced to him, um, basically to take care of the house. Now he's not going to be able to go back to the house at all, and take care of anything. So it was a matter of meeting with him and being able to develop a trusting relationship that he literally had to trust me with everything. in his house. Had no family, and one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Um, so gracious, so considerate, and so grateful. He immediately, was very, very happy that he was introduced to me, and that he felt so relieved that he was going to be able to get this done, even though he couldn't be there to do it.
Mm.
So, we had to go through all his possessions. We had to have estate sales. But the part that I'm getting to with the love story and all this, now he's lived in that home for 70 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my, he's the longest. This
yeah.
is the longest I've
Yeah.
ever had someone live in their home.
70 years.
70 years. He was 5 when he moved in.
Oh, jeez.
So his neighbor right across the alley from him, she was also going to be moving to the community and needed my services. So they were neighbors for 70 years, never married or
Yeah.
anything,
Oh, wow.
but neighbors, still each had their own place, and
But they knew each other.
she very well. And
Oh, wow.
she was going to be moving to the same community he was in because they wanted to be
Oh,
close.
say no more.
So they had rooms side by side.
Woo!
So
All
she's
right,
in
now.
one apartment, he's in the other
Right.
apartment, and both so trusting, delightful. It just a joy to be around both of them
Yeah.
because they're so grateful
Yeah.
and they appreciate, what I'm doing and what my team is doing for them. But at the same time, it's like there's no family on either side.
Right.
So there's so much more that has to be done.
They became their family to each
Yeah,
other.
and I became their family all of a sudden. I
Right.
really have, and it is, going above and beyond. And I mean, my daughter and I actually he had a cat at home that the neighbor had been taking care of. Well, now she's going to the community. The cat they were hoping would be able to go with, and unfortunately, the cat was sick.
Oh.
My daughter and I were going there feeding the cat.
Oh my God.
Feeding the cat
Right.
as we were working through the process of,
Yeah.
getting an estate sale planned, getting all of these things done, and the house cleaned out and ready to be sold. So the cat could not go with him. And I had to call him one night and tell him, that she's really sick and I don't know that she's going to make it, through the night. My daughter and I took the cat to be euthanized.
Oh,
man. With him asking me to.
Right.
There was no one else to do it,
Yeah.
and trust me, one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have
I mean, that's
animals.
life.
I don't have animals myself,
Right.
but I handled it with great care and compassion
Yeah.
and empathy
Yeah.
for him because
he
had, this cat was part of his life. 19 years old. I
Oh
said,
my God.
he gave her a really good life,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, absolutely. She's like another
Right.
part of the family.
But we got it all done. We
Thank
got the house, all cleared out. We got everything done. But it's still an ongoing relationship that I have with both of them.
Right.
And so it's kind of like a tragic love story almost,
Yeah.
but at least they're both together.
Oh man. Now,
Gives you chills, doesn't it?
speaking, yeah, I know. I'm already getting goosebumps. I got some goosebumps yesterday when Laura was telling me stories, and I got more goosebumps today. Some of these facilities, they don't allow pets at all.
Right.
Some do,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to pay gazillion bucks extra for that. But some don't. I mean, many that I know of, they don't allow pets in there.
Right.
Got an interesting question here sent to us by a viewer. What are some of the current trends in the real estate market that seniors and their families should be aware of?
Well, I don't know that this is a trend, but it is a trend, I guess, and it's something that maybe people aren't aware of, and that are people knocking at your door. People are knocking on seniors' doors. They get the information. They can pull the information from just about anywhere.
Talk to me about that. How do they do that? It's like right now I'm taking care of my mom.
Yeah.
We get mail and we get calls. It's unbelievable. It's from people we've never heard of.
Yep.
So I filter through that before my mom gets any mail.
Hmm.
And I'm telling you, every day, 99% of that mail ends up they're sending my mom credit card offers. I mean, home insurance, refinancing, mortgage.
Hmm.
It's amazing.
They can pull mailing list based on age. They can pull
This
information.
is so
It's sad.
so sad.
It's sad, but you get the people that actually knock on the door trying to buy the house
Yeah,
from seniors that are living in their homes alone,
unbelievable.
and they think, "Oh, I wouldn't have to deal with any of this.
Un,
They'll take it just like it is."
Unbelievable.
And what they're offering them are pennies on the
Yeah,
dollar for
yeah.
what this house is
They're
worth.
they're making
It's scams,
scams. They're trying to benefit from
yeah.
somebody who can't take care of themselves. And
Right.
and it's amazing. I don't know. There are no laws against that. It's like perfectly normal.
It's perfectly normal.
You know, and this is the reason why these scammers overseas, they look at that and they
Mhm.
laugh at it, that some of our laws are so downright stupid.
They're very lenient when it comes
I
to
call it stupid
real
laws.
estate.
Yeah, that you can because have you ever wondered how these scammers get your phone number? We
Oh,
give it to them.
oh
We
yes.
give it to them.
But I mean, many of my clients, they're not on social media, but they get it because there are companies that just pull this
Yeah,
information. They just pull the information and they make it public. Anyone, if you dig deep enough, can get
right.
public information.
Oh,
From
absolutely. There's nothing
tax,
hidden.
yeah,
There's nothing
tax
hidden.
data, but they even know the age of the people that live there. They know
Right,
everything. They know
right.
everything. So, I mean, it's becoming more and more of a trend
Yeah.
where
No matter where you go.
people are knocking on the doors. The same thing with trying to get them to put these, solar panels up, or to
Oh my God.
try and
Yeah.
new roofs, if there's been
Right.
a storm in the area. There are so many different things that, and they're trusting in many
Yeah.
cases. They're very trusting. They've
Yeah.
lived in their neighborhood forever.
They are very, very good con people, con men, con women.
Yeah.
They come dressed appropriately.
Yeah.
And they're, oh, how you doing? Oh, we are here for you. My mom, and they just, oh my God.
Oh, and they know some of the stories
Yeah,
about, oh, you just lost your
they know
husband, or
everything because
Mhm.
when I was taking care of my dad, rest in peace, whenever we visited a hospital for anything, because he was going through some knee replacement,
Yes.
knee pain and all that, every time we went they made us fill out a paper,
Mhm.
and on every paper they had so many questions. Hey, who lives in the house? How many
Mhm.
grandchildren you have? They want to know everything about you. What happens to all? I know we're segueing
Right.
from there, but this is very important. This concerns the seniors also, because those are the people that are targeted. I am never getting those calls.
No, but your mother is.
My mom is,
Yes.
and she hasn't. She has never been online. She does not know. Well, she has an iPhone.
Yeah.
But she doesn't.
Google
She
or
no, she doesn't do that. She doesn't do that. She watches her religious
right.
programs or her stuff. But it's amazing how they get all that
They
information.
they can get
Crazy.
any information needed is out there, depending on what you want to use it for. And unfortunately, many people want to use it for the wrong reasons.
And I want to add another thing when the viewers that are watching us, and of course you are very, very well respected and known in the community. Guys, be very careful when you're online where you put your information.
Mhm.
Okay, be very, very careful. if you have an ounce of love for somebody, like your mom or your dad or your uncle or somebody that you're trying to help, be very careful before you input any other, information about them online, because some of those websites are not
No,
what they seem to be.
do not fill out
Yeah.
forms. Do not fill
You
out
know,
forms for information.
local person. We have Helen, you want to say your number one more time, just your phone number?
708 712 8493.
Very good. I will make sure that we have the number on screen for the viewers. A question we got here is, are there any specific resources? I know we talked about a lot of them,
Mhm.
whether online tools or local support groups that you recommend to seniors or families navigating real estate decisions.
Okay, when they're navigating real estate decisions, many, depending on their need, Mark, you know what, there are many organizations out there to um, help seniors, that may not know who to call, may not know what direction to take. Whether it be, again, back to a crisis, but back to, a situation where um, they're not sure that they want to move or they would like to stay in their home.
Yeah.
That is a big thing that we don't talk about, right? But I want to talk about that because there are many that want to stay in their home until they absolutely cannot stay there any longer. What we want to know is that they're safe, and that if they are going to stay in their home, that they're safe to do so. So, there are modifications that can be made to the home, and assessments that can be made to determine if that is an option, for them. Should they have already made the decision to move, please do not go on and start filling out forms. Don't let anyone talk
Yeah.
you into going in and filling out forms. But we have a wonderful organization here that can direct you to almost any resource you would need, and that's Pathlights. That services our immediate area
Right.
here for seniors and persons with
And
disabilities.
that's coming from you, so that is, yeah, that's legit.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm an ambassador for Pathlights, and it is an organization that helped me during a very difficult time. People believe that they're financially that you have to have a financial need to use their resources. That is not true. Um, they helped me. I didn't need any financial help with my dad, but I needed trusted resources, and they went above and beyond to
Yeah.
help me through many, many difficult times because I was a caregiver for my father for 5 years. So it, that is something that I wanted to mention earlier on, actually, Mark, was how I got into
Mhm.
this. I mentioned the sons that were having the problems, working through mom's issues, and living out of state, blah, blah. Um, Little did I know, a year later, my own father would be
Yeah.
diagnosed with dementia, and
Mm.
I would be going through this.
Right.
So, we're put in a place for a reason. We're put through things for a reason.
Absolutely.
And I really do feel that me getting on that plane and heading to Fort Lauderdale to get this certification to be
Yeah.
able to better serve
Right.
my own clients got me through something that I could have never imagined navigating had I not done that
Couldn't have
just a
been
year
to a better
prior.
person. Yeah.
Just a year prior, I had
Yeah.
taken this certification course. And at the time I had to help these sons, it was, I was considering, possibly retiring. I was thinking about
Yeah.
what would retirement look
Right.
like because, again, I'm not going to mention the decades I've been doing
Right.
this,
Right.
but
Right. Right. Right.
it was time for
Yeah.
me to start thinking about that. And when that happened, and when I went on this mission, it was really like I had a calling,
Yeah.
and this is something I needed to do. Um, And now, they say find something that you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Right.
Well, I was in my 50s when that happened to
Right.
me, and I can't imagine not doing what I'm doing every day of my life. I can't imagine not doing it. So I definitely found my calling
You
and
found
my
your calling.
purpose.
Yeah. I know. I want to ask you, do you only work with senior clients? Can you tell us a little bit more about your business other than seniors? Because I know it's not, you do probably 90% seniors, 95%.
Myself personally.
Yeah, well, yourself personally, you're 100% seniors, but you also take care of, if somebody was to come in and ask you, hey, Helen, I'm trying to find an apartment or I'm trying to find a house. Can you help me? Can you do that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is obviously I've been doing it for so many years, and I have a company, Resource
Resource
55,
55, yeah.
but it is a partnership that was just formed as an LLC this year with thankfully, my son and my
Right,
daughter.
right.
And so the three of us work together and it's
Very good.
lovely.
And what does your son do? I listen, you know me better than that. I have a very bad habit of cutting people off
I
and then
know,
saying, I'm not trying to cut you off here, but I want to get something
but
in.
yeah,
What does your son do?
my son is actually the managing broker of the company.
Okay.
He is an engineer,
He's an
so
engineer,
he is not, but he's also certified
but he does
in
something
divorce,
in
yeah,
divorce. He's certified. Exactly what is he certified in divorce for?
and in being able to help
Okay.
families that are going through divorce
Uh-huh.
in the home,
Okay.
as far as dealing with the home,
Right.
which is in most cases the largest asset that
Right.
most people have,
Right. Right.
so it's a very intricate part
Yeah.
of, in a very unfortunate situation.
Mhm.
But I have to say, if anyone is really good at it, I mean, obviously, I've worked with many clients,
Yeah.
that are going through
Yeah.
this that have been referred to me. And yes, I can do that. We all can.
And what about your daughter?
My daughter
What does she do?
she's a real estate broker,
Okay.
and she basically takes care of all the things I don't want to take
Okay.
care of
Okay. Okay.
as far as working with buyers.
Right.
And, also in many cases, I work with clients that are past clients and referrals.
Mhm.
I work with them personally. They're lifelong past clients and referrals. If they call me and they need to sell their house, obviously I'm going on that appointment.
Right.
Um, Although she's side by side with me now as far as being able to take over after that initial appointment. And so, yes, we have a full service real estate company.
And beautiful, beautiful. I can really attest to that. A beautiful family. Everybody has a heart of gold. Speaking of divorces, we do have a very special person. Well, it's not. It's just not a special person. It's a group. It's a group of attorneys.
Yes,
Stark.
yes.
I'm gonna try to get them on because they know what they're doing, man, and they're the best of the best in this business. So
They're always my first call if
yeah,
ever I have
yeah.
clients in
Mine
need.
too, mine too. Not that I've been through a divorce
No,
with them, but
no.
still, they are the best, and they're the biggest in the community.
Yeah.
There is nobody else bigger than them, and they throw the best parties
And
every year. Yeah,
they are a huge community resource.
and they support everybody.
They
They
support.
support everybody. Let me tell you something. No matter what business you have, you go to them and you say, "Hey, I have this, this, and this," and they're like, "We got you.
We've got you.
We got your back."
They have a great resource department
Yeah.
there, and they've been helpful in many, many
They
situations. It's
they
not
will
just divorce.
they will take, the old saying, they'll take the shirt off their back for you.
Yes,
Yes,
they
they
are
will.
a huge,
Beautiful
huge
people.
part of the
Yeah.
community, and they support the communities more than any
And
company I can really
I
think
just
of.
want to say I love my Gwen.
Yes,
She's the best. Fred, and of course Duke. Duke.
Yeah,
Can't forget Duke.
can't forget
Can't
Duke.
forget Duke.
Can't forget Duke.
The whole staff over there is just beautiful.
Top
Uh,
notch team.
the best. So I think we should arrange a show with your son. Yeah, let's
Yes.
not now, maybe later on.
Yeah.
And I'll try to get our Sturk family on board also. But Helen, I wanted to thank you very much for coming in at such short notice. That's how I am.
Mark.
Hey, Helen, what you doing tomorrow?
Yeah.
I need you at the studio this time.
It's like, what?
Mark,
What about my hair?
I'm gonna be in Chicago. Forget Chicago.
Yeah.
I need you in the studio. I did that with Laura too.
Yeah.
And I'm so blessed that money isn't everything. Money isn't everything. Sometimes when you have your best friends that are there for you, I said this to Laura yesterday. How much she has done for me and for
Right.
Wicked Car Magazine, and what people don't know how much Helen Morgan, the lady with the $1 million smile, has done for me, and never ever asked for a penny. And I remember when I was starting Southland Vibe,
Mhm.
the newspaper, and of course, hey, listen, newspapers, in case people don't know, they run on advertising. Okay,
Right.
they don't run on good looks. They don't run on uh, whatever, on good thoughts. They run on advertising.
Yes.
And I do remember talking to you about it, and you came in the next morning, and there was a check under the door, and I'm very grateful. And I want to thank you, my dear friend Helen, for coming in and for giving us so much information that I think everybody in the community should benefit from. I'm going to make sure that we have your website and your phone number there so people can get in touch with you. Any parting words?
I just want everyone to know, everyone in the community to know that you're not alone. You're never alone. And many times it seems that you are. But there are resources out there that can help in every aspect. And especially when we're talking about the senior or real estate industry, please call. Just make the call. Don't try to do it alone. Don't feel overwhelmed. And let's make this a joyful experience for your next chapter. And thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you, viewers, our international viewers, our local viewers, and stay tuned to Producer Mark's Chit Show with the C. And we will be bringing you more interesting podcasts from around town. Thank you, guys.